Says former Bungie developers point to leadership for the studio's issues. Everything happening to Bungie is because of greed. Coming from a WCCF tech, David Orkosol. I apologize if I messed that up. So we continue on. Also, Destin Legary, if you guys haven't watched this YouTube video, a lot of anonymous interviews from former Bungie employees just talking about the whole situation, about what's going on at the company, how people are reacting to everything, and what is wrong. And collectively, it's come down that that the management has been completely fucking up the whole company. Former Bungie developers are speaking out about the problems Bungie is facing internally, and all signs point to leadership and structural issues following Sony's acquisition of Bungie, and a human resource department, or at least a single member of the department, covering up internal issues of harassment for personal gain on their exit from the studio. So not only that, right? So from what I hear, Bungie, right? Bungie was trying to make itself look very good, especially when it came to Sony buying Bungie, right? They're in a partnership. Sony doesn't officially own Bungie, but they're in a partnership. And there is like some stipulations of like, if you get this many sales, then you're good. But if things go awry, then Sony owns Bungie over time. The problem is that Bungie was inflating its numbers to Sony, and there's a lot of issues underneath it all that Sony wasn't aware of before they got into partnership with Bungie. And now Sony is dealing with all of this backlash, the ramifications of the issues of the company and the leadership that are dealing with it. All of this came about after Bungie was caught using artwork and or art assets from another artist without their permission or crediting them for the fourth time in recent years. Fourth time. Now, Destin Legary goes over the plagiarism that Bungie has done with all these artists. The artists have all been, settled. For the most part, they've all been settled, and they seem very, at least the artists seem very receptive to what Bungie has done for them after the fact. 4 times. It doesn't make any sense. Like, there's something that you're not seeing, or something that they're not doing for this company that's causing these issues. And it always stems up to the leadership. Quote, everything happening to Bungie is because of greed, a former Bungie developer told Legary. Another quote went further, saying Bungie's problem stemmed from a lack of player empathy, disconnected leadership, and a corporate-first culture. Another quote reads, eternal language shifted from studio games and players to company, product, and customers. During the Sony acquisition, highlighting how the studio has seemingly shifted its viewpoint that makes good games for players to enjoy is no longer the ultimate goal, and is instead making games that make as much money as possible. There have been negative stories about internal problems at the Destiny 2 developer for the past couple of years, and morale certainly can't be helped by the layoffs the studio has suffered. All of the leadership might be part of the problem, which is what seems to be the speculation in this video. But as Legary points out, the buck has to stop somewhere. And in the case of Bungie, that's where Chief Executive Officer Pete Parson. There is so much happening at Bungie. So much happening. Not only with Destiny 2, but also with the Marathon, right? How basically Marathon was a dud. My heart goes out to all the Bungie developers that are caught in the crossfire because they have really shitty leadership that doesn't want to see them thrive, and they just get laid off because of it, because of specific games that doesn't sound fun or doesn't sound entertaining, or just have to deal with so much shit. It's so unfortunate. Yeah, a guy I worked with, who I respected a lot for career advice, said he worked for a very short time at Bungie and said whatever you do, do not work there. That's how bad it's been. The person at the top, Pete Parson, is to blame 100%. He's making all these calls, and I just find it so disheartening to hear all of the stories. And on top of that, a terrible HR that's supposed to have the people working in mind, but realistically, any HR person has the company in mind first and foremost, so you can never rely on them. It's unfortunate, and I hope all of the Bungie developers that are caught in this crossfire, just like the Gearbox ones, they have to pick up the pieces, and I hope they find a better leadership in mind. I hope massive change happens at the studio. The only change that will happen is if Sony fully takes over Bungie, and that's our best case scenario for this. Doesn't seem like Pete Parson is leaving anytime soon, unless he gets not ousted, but he gets kicked out by Sony leadership. So, but if you guys haven't watched this video, please do yourself a favor.
The last several days.
It is a fantastic watch. Former IGN Destin Legary, and he just recently went independent. So do yourself a favor and check his video out.